That's who for it. So we do things like interviewing candidates. We have lobbyists on the state level and also local, state, federal, and local level who advocate for realtors, particularly during the pandemic. The lobbyists in DC were able to get unemployment insurance for realtors, which was a big deal. But we support candidates. We do a lot of candidate interviews. I counted last year we did 20, Jim, and Matt was there for them too. Yeah, we do we have a local PAC, so we'll do interviews for local county, for like municipal and county elections. And then we also do interviews for state, for the General Assembly. We just did a couple about a month ago. And then at the federal level, we also do them for our members of Congress. I don't know if Jim, you want to add anything? He won't get the mic.
So hi, I'm Jim Helsel, and I am probably the old guy here. I've been on the PAC for a long time. I've seen a lot of changes. A couple things Margaret said, though, that I want to make sure you heard. One is we are bipartisan. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. I have a good friend. I was treasurer of the National Association of Realtors several years ago, and I have a good friend who was CEO at the time. And he used to always say to me, if not us, who? If our PAC wasn't protecting us being realtors, who would protect us and who would protect our clients with private property rights? And that's probably something you need to think about a little bit. But if you're not involved in the PAC, by involved, you may get involved as a PAC trustee. You may be involved simply in investing in your industry by investing in RPAC. Who does? Who's going to protect your industry? I'll give you just a couple of ideas about things we've done. About 8 years ago, we did a big push for point of sale on things in the Camp Hill Borough. And Camp Hill Borough had an ordinance that they wanted to promote, which said, before you can sell your home, you've got to do a sewer lateral inspection and fix any sidewalk issues, which meant that either the seller or the buyer, and you had 1 year to do it subsequent to the sale. And if not, you would be fined and they would put a lien on your property. So think about what that would do to your sellers or buyers. Another one, and we defeated that. And we literally voted as a PAC to support people who were going to be on the borough council who thought it was a crazy idea, because it was. There's 3,500 homes in round numbers in the city, in the borough of Camp Hill, and we'd sell 15 to 20 a year. So if you're not going to do that, spread it over the entire community, why force the people who are going to sell to do those kind of things? Another one, and I'm a commercial broker, you probably never heard of me. This is my 51st year in the business. I will tell you that about 20 years ago, we did a bill called the Commercial Broker Lien Act, which says if you're a commercial broker, if you have a property listed and you have an exclusive right to sell or some form of written contract, that you have the ability to file a lien against a property that's going to be sold if you don't think they're going to pay your commission at the settlement table. And if you've never gone into a settlement where the buyer or the seller says, I'm going to renegotiate my commission, or I want to change the commission I'm going to pay you, or I'm not going to pay you, worse yet. This bill, this legislation which passed, corrected that problem, as long as you know before the time it settles. Margaret talked about a couple other bills, which I won't go back into. I'm not asking, give what you can give. I'm not suggesting you need to give $1,000 or $2,000, or there's a list of numbers I can give you to go anywhere from $10,000 down to $4,950, which is what a lot of realtors do because they include it in their dues. But give something, because if you don't, there's no one else protecting your profession. And if you think that doesn't happen, think about what I started out with. If not us, who? If we don't protect our own profession, it's really insurance for our own protection. And we don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican. I said that before. Typically, if you look at the giving, the investing we do with local, state, and federal elected officials, whether it be city council, whether it be township commissioners, whether it be county commissioners, whether it be state legislature or federal legislature, typically the spread is between 49 and 51% across the aisle. So neither side gets a majority of the money. We don't do it for the Republicans. We don't do it for the Democrats. We do it for people who literally think the way we think. And that's when Margaret talked about interviews. We did 20 interviews last year of prospective candidates for different positions, from county commissioners to borough council people to state legislative people. And we talked to them. We say, what are your thoughts? What do you really think about private property rights? What do you think about school taxes? What do you think about things that are going to affect not just our business, but our clients and customers? Because again, if we don't do it, who does? So with that, I'd turn it back to Steve if you want to make a couple comments. But I think, you need to think about where this will go if we don't do it. And, I'll give you an example, just one more example. About 6 or 7 years ago, there was a change in the federal election laws, which allowed corporate donors to give money through PACs they had. Imagine trying to fight Home Depot or Lowe's or Kmart or Chase Bank or people like that with the money they have for PACs. NAR's PAC, I think last year, was it 27 million?
Sounds probably right.
About $27 million we raised across the country, not just in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, we were about,
I want to say
just under $1 million,
just under a million.
like $800 or $900,000, which gets spread across the state. And by the way, if you give through the local PAC, whatever we give that goes beyond what they call the fair share amount, the State Association of Realtors says each of your members should give a minimum of $15. Once we get by the $15, every dollar after that, 1/3 of it comes back to our local association to use for local election issues. So there's a reason to think about what you're doing with those dollars and where those dollars are going to go to protect either the municipality you live in, the county you live in, or the state legislative issue. So with that, I'll turn it over to Steve. Hope that helps a little bit.
Thanks, Jim. I won't take much of your time. My stories, I don't have as many stories as Jim does, or examples, but this for me is really just a power in numbers. How do I get my voice and my impact to the greatest platform possible? And as Jim mentioned, giving that $49, $50 when I pay my dues at least is really, it doesn't even hit the radar in any budget that I track, whether it be business or personal. But I really just believe that if you're in a professional industry, you should contribute to support it. And by giving to the PAC really helps to get your $50 to the widest platform possible. And, it passes it on, whether it's a local, state, or federal issue. Legislators are, I don't want to say coming after our industry every day, but they're coming up with some very creative ways to impact it on a pretty consistent basis. If you pay attention to the news and some of the things, even at the local level, if you go to your local municipal meetings and just listen to some of the conversations that they have about the way that they think that things should be done. And oftentimes, because they're, overseeing housing and the community, it impacts our industry. So we're out there. Margaret is there every day, kind of keeping an eye out for us, sharing what's going on and helping us track those issues to make sure that our voice is heard. So I encourage all of you to contribute. If not at the minimal level, there's lots of opportunities to get involved. At the PAC level, being a trustee, and then also at the state level, and then ultimately at NAR, government affairs. So, but thanks for your time today.
I'll just close it out with a couple more things, just to reiterate what Jim and Steve were saying. If we do fight ordinances on a local level, or also work with municipalities to help them pass better ordinances. So if you know of an issue in your community, please let us know. Matt has all my contact information. He knows how to get in touch with me. So ask Matt or just give me a call or an email. On June 3rd, if you're interested, we are going to the Capitol for our PAR Day on the Hill. So you can sign up. You should have received an email from PAR. If not, just contact me and I can get you situated. But we go and meet with the Central PA delegation of the General Assembly. And this is great because we, we were saying, we have a local PAC. We have some state legislators that we have been supporting since they were township commissioners. So we've been building relationships for years, and when we need something, they're there for us. So it's a great opportunity. It doesn't matter if you don't know what you're talking about. There's lots of us there. We have talking points. You don't have to talk if you don't want to, but it would be a great opportunity to meet your state reps, your state senators, learn about what's going on in real estate industry on the legislative level. So if you're interested in that, that's June 3rd at the Capitol. And then I am going to pass out some cards. You can scan the QR code if you'd like to, if you haven't invested yet, or if you'd like to make another investment. Oh, and Jim wants to talk again.
One other thing I didn't say, so many people that I've talked to over the years say, I don't want to give to the PAC. I'm not buying somebody's vote. If you think $50 or $100 or $500 or $25 will buy somebody's vote, you're wrong. The elections now are costing millions of dollars. What our PAC dollars do, even though they help support members, is they get us in the door to talk to people. I can tell you right now, if I walk into a state legislator's office or somebody in DC, and I do this all the time when I'm with NAR or PAR, a legislator can open his drawer and pull out a piece of paper which will tell you whether your industry has given his position, whether it's a local or state issue. They all know exactly how much the realtors have given. It doesn't mean they're going to do what you want them to do when we talk to them. All it means is they're going to listen to you. It's an opportunity to educate legislators on what our position is and why our position is where it is, because most of the time they don't know. Think of the thousands of issues that the local, state, and national elected officials deal with every single day. They don't know the issue. They only hear from, if we don't tell them, they don't hear our side. They don't understand that when you put an ordinance in place, which means we're going to have to do so much more with water, sewer, or construction, that it's just bumped the cost of your client's home to build by $5,000 or $10,000, which means it's going to pay you that much more by a buyer who may or may not be able to do that. So the thing to remember is this is not about buying votes. It's about getting us heard, and getting us heard by people who believe in what we do, so they can vote and they can speak well at the local, state, or national level on issues that do affect us. So I did not say that before. I should have brought that up. So there you go. Anything else? Thanks for your time from me.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Make sure that you make a contribution to levels that you call.
That's crazy.